Topping the lineup today here on The Now, blood supplies are dropping to critical levels. We're going to talk about how groups are taking the lead to save more lives. And $120,000 in debt cleared. One family sharing their story in hopes of helping others get out of the red. And do you remember how to write in cursive? Well, there are more schools actually pushing to bring the style back to classrooms.
Thanks, Chris. This is The Now Indy. I'm Mark Mullins. Now, if you or someone you know is struggling to put food on the table every day, you may be eligible for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, also known as SNAP. RTV6's Kelsey Anderson talked to Butler University students working in partnership with Indiana Hunger Network on an application that will help you check your eligibility before you apply.
Not everybody that is eligible is signed up for SNAP benefits.
Cabrilla Waters is working with his classmates on this website. It helps people calculate their SNAP benefits eligibility. Their goal is to help people realize what benefits they can get.
I think my hope is the same as everyone in this group and the motivation behind the project in the first place. And that's just to basically bridge the gap between people who may not want to apply or don't think they're eligible and like the actual process to make it more approachable.
Through this project, the Butler students have learned only 25% of those who are eligible for SNAP benefits are using them.
And we want to get that to 100% if we can.
The calculator is fairly simple to use. You enter some basic information about your household, and it gives you your estimated SNAP benefit allowance. Under that, there's the link to the online SNAP application.
Yeah, there are a lot of people that could potentially be helped by this, and I want to help as many people as I can doing what I do.
Well, the students are working on adding Spanish to the website so more people will be able to use it. You can find that link to the application on the RTV6 News app right now. Just because kids are out of school doesn't mean they stop needing food. A reminder, Indianapolis Public Schools is serving free meals to students over winter break. Breakfast and lunch will be offered this coming Monday, Thursday, and Friday at more than a dozen locations. Meals will not be served on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. You can find a full list of locations and times in this story on the RTV6 app and on our website, theindychannel.com.
Our skies are gray and even a little bit foggy out there today as temperatures have cooled down. You know, we've enjoyed a couple of days here in the 60s, but look at where we are sitting. A departure from yesterday. Numbers that are 20 to 25 degrees colder than 24 hours ago. But when we look at the actual numbers, that still puts us in the middle to upper 30s and even some upper 40s out there, a testament to just how warm it has been here the last couple of days. It's 40 right now in Indy, 41 for you in Muncie, and 36 in Crawfordsville. Satellite and radar, there's the bank of cloud cover that we've had throughout the day. A little bit of clearing in Illinois, but you notice you got to go down into the Gulf Coast states or back into portions of Kansas to find any precipitation. So we're going to stay dry this evening. Those temperatures initially dropping off here, but we'll start to level off and even come back up a degree or two as we get to 11 o'clock with mostly cloudy skies. The weekend warmth does return. We'll talk about that. Also, the potential for some heavy rain and a brief cool down. Chris?
Let's start the Now news feed. The Russian military unveiling a new intercontinental weapon. It says it can fly 27 times the speed of sound. This is an upgrade to the country's nuclear strike capability. Disney World's most famous faces are not happy. The employees who played Mickey, Minnie, and Donald Duck, they have filed incident reports with police. They say they were inappropriately touched by tourists. A man was arrested in November for groping a Disney princess. This is a sad story today. On a flight to Los Angeles on Delta, as a child having a medical emergency and passing away, the 10-year-old girl went into cardiac arrest. It is unclear if she had a previously known medical condition. Did you recently get an email from companies about new privacy notices? If you did, it's because businesses are now working to comply with a new California privacy law. People in California can request to have their data deleted. Those living elsewhere can only see what data is being collected on them. Now, if you received an Alexa or another gadget as a gift this year, the Better Business Bureau is warning to watch out for activation scams.
This is basically a new twist on what we call a tech support scam. Again, scammers are using technology at its finest to entice consumers when they're searching for maybe a customer support number to activate their new device.
They say crooks have set up fake customer support numbers. They hope when you Google a number or you tell Alexa to call customer service that you'll get their number instead of the real one. The scammers may try to charge you an activation fee or have you pass along device access to download malware and then charge you to fix it. The Better Business Bureau says that activation should be free. You want to check the device's manual to make sure that you are calling the correct number for customer service, and also be aware of sponsored links online.
Scam-oriented websites are going to spoof legitimate brands, but the websites are usually not complete. They'll be poor grammar, and the URL will usually be a few letters off of what the legitimate company's website truly is.
Now, to know if a website is legit, check the terms and conditions, usually at the bottom. Is the company transparent about who they are? Do links on the website actually work? Now, if you do come across a scam, report it to the Better Business Bureau's scam tracker, your local law enforcement, and the Federal Trade Commission. All right, ahead in our lineup today, cursive writing, remember that? Well, it is making a comeback. There are more states moving towards bringing it back into classrooms and having teachers teach this handwriting style. And we're going to talk to a teacher about the benefits of it.
Here at Andy Moore.
Welcome back to the Now Indy on RTV6. Right now, fire investigators are trying to figure out exactly what sparked a home explosion in rural Fountain County. That call came in around 4 yesterday afternoon for a home in Portland Arch, about 5 miles southwest of Attica. We're told the owners were in the home when this happened. They were able to get out unhurt, but 2 cats and 8 dogs that were inside are thought to be dead. Right now, it's still unclear at this point what caused the explosion. The FBI Violent Crimes Task Force is still looking for this man and woman who they say robbed a bank in Lawrence. Police say the two held up the Huntington Bank near Pendleton Pike and Oak Landon Road Tuesday morning. After they got away, investigators say a dye pack activated, covering the stolen cash, clothes, and possibly the woman with red dye. You can report information by calling the FBI. That number is 317-595-4000. And a man was in critical condition after a shooting on Indy's northwest side early this morning. According to officers on scene, a man was shot in the parking lot on Sandy Side Drive off Georgetown Road around 1:30. Indy Metro Police officers found the victim and took him to the hospital. Police have not released any information on a suspect.
A new drug is giving those with cystic fibrosis a new hope. CF is a disorder that significantly decreases the lung function of someone who has it. Doctors say people usually only live into their 30s. The FDA approved medication called Trikafta. It's leading to improvements in patients, including 36-year-old Nicholas Bell.
It honestly just feels kind of like a miracle. The changes that I experienced from the beginning of the drug just 2 weeks in were overnight. I mean, I literally felt it within hours.
Bell says in the first 2 months of taking Trikafta, he was able to shave 4 minutes off his mile. New Jersey is the latest state to consider bringing cursive back into schools. Now, over the last few years, cursive has made a bit of a comeback in education, with more than a dozen states passing or considering laws. Education experts say there are practical benefits to it, like learning to sign your name, reading historic documents or letters from older relatives. Now, we talked to a lifelong teacher, now part of a dyslexia research team, about the benefits of learning handwriting in general.
Cursive, ultimately, when it's automatic, is faster, because you don't have to pick up your pencil after each letter. It also helps, as Dr. Berninger says, cursive helps you to connect things. Once you start writing in cursive, you're going in one direction. It's hard to turn something around backwards.
Studies have shown the physical act of writing helps you retain more than typing.
But cursive is linked with brain functions that have to do with self-regulation and mental organization.
Texas putting in new requirements for cursive, putting those on the books for this school year. All right, let's get back to our lineup here on The Now. Families across the country struggling with debt, and for one family, it was $120,000, but they managed to clear all of it. The mother of 2 explaining how they did it.
RTV6 is working for you.
Americans just set a record, holding a collective $14 trillion in debt. Now, many people use plastic for holiday shopping, but credit card debt, that is a year-round issue for so many people in this country. But we talked to a family who proved it does not have to be forever. 10 years ago, Aja McClanahan didn't think she'd be living here on Chicago's South Side. It also seemed like her family would always be in debt.
It was a mountain that I did not think we could ever tackle.
And we're not just talking a little bit.
It was over $120,000. I would say that everything started with those pesky student loans. That was the bulk of our debt, $60,000 between the two of us. And then the rest of our debt, another $60,000, was a mixture of consumer debt like car notes and credit cards and miscellaneous like, medical bills and things like that.
But this family decided debt wasn't going to define them forever.
I remember when I had my first child, my daughter, I knew I wanted to stay home with her, but when I ran the numbers between bills, rent, debt repayment, student loans, we cannot make this work.
Were you guys budgeting before?
No, we weren't. We just spent money as it came in, and whatever we spent it on is whatever we spent it on.
They made sacrifices, and that included a move from the suburbs to this part of Chicago, where they inherited a home from a family member no one else wanted.
First night we were there, we were like, this is the stupidest thing we've ever done in our lives. Because it was so noisy, just the urban soundscape.
They fixed it up, settled in, and made it their home without paying a mortgage or rent. And after about 8 years of strict spending, side hustles, and chipping away,
final balance was like $1,700 for like a student loan or something like that. And I remember making the payment and calling my husband like, we're debt free.
A success story, one she now tries to help others achieve.
Well, I find that a lot of people become really hopeless, especially around the holidays, when you're expected to have money to go out, to go to parties, to exchange gifts. And for some people, they feel very powerless and out of control because, they don't have money.
Because while money isn't everything, it can impact more than just a bottom line.
Money touches every part of our lives, and that if you can fix that money thing, you can just get back more control.
Well, today the National Park Service is installing sand traps along Lake Michigan shoreline to combat beach erosion at the Indiana Dunes National Park. Officials say without them, the parking lot, road, and the public utilities buried near the dunes could be damaged or destroyed by future storm waves. An emergency order and travel restrictions were put into place in the Beverly Shores area last week due to the continued erosion. The dunes became Indiana's first national park back in February. And in Seymour, Jackson County EMS made special calls to tend to the heart. Shane Collier, another emergency medical technician, spent Sunday delivering 31 stockings filled with goodies for residents of 4 senior living communities in Seymour. The stockings were received with hugs, smiles, kisses on the cheek, and laughter. It was a great moment for the EMTs and the residents. It looks like a new tradition is born in Seymour there. Great to see. Here's a happy and warm gift for some who could not be home for the holidays. Volunteers from the Community Hospital North Quilting Bee made special deliveries. They worked all year on almost 230 quilts. This week, they were given to patients at Community North and Community Heart and Vascular Hospital. All of the fabric used for the quilts was donated, and each of the quilters donated their time and their love to this project. Isn't that great to see, Kyle?
Very nice to see, and also nice to see is a little bit of sunshine as we look west over downtown Indianapolis on what's been a very cloudy day, and we are going to see more clouds than sunshine as we head into the upcoming weekend. But at least temperatures, they are cooler, but still at or above average for this time of year. Sitting at 45 in Columbus, 40 in Indianapolis. Gets a little bit cooler as you work your way north across the area. Peru right now at 37, but the warmth is not very far away, and we are going to get back into those temperatures in the 50s and 60s as the weekend goes along. Tonight, temperatures will settle into the upper 30s in the city with some patchy fog around the area and a light southeast wind. Here's a look at TrueCast tomorrow morning. There we are with some fog and clouds around, maybe a little bit of sunshine here and there. That's about it. We don't really see any scattered light rain showers until we get to around 8, 9 o'clock tomorrow night, and then the rain gets a little more widespread from there. So with the cloudy skies, temperatures warming back up, lower 50s at noon. We'll get to around 61 for that afternoon high, so the 60s will be a welcome return to the area with those numbers right around 60 for you in Muncie, 63 in Rockville, and even Kokomo. Tomorrow you'll get into the middle and upper 50s. But on Sunday, there are those rain chances going to be fairly widespread throughout the day, but still mild as we enjoy temperatures into the 60s. Here's a look at TrueCast as we go throughout our Sunday morning. That rain, possibly a few rumbles of thunder here as we go into the early afternoon. Next few days of your forecast, we've got the rain on Sunday and then cooler temperatures arriving for early next week. Our high 43 on Monday, 37, which is seasonal for this time of year on Tuesday, but we rebound just beyond that. Chris?
Let's start the news feed. Russia is appealing its 4-year Olympics ban. Russia claiming someone tampered with drug testing results to make them look guilty. The World Anti-Doping Agency says Russia manipulated its own data. Well, it might be tough to carry everything you buy out of Target without a bag, but now there's a push to make plastic bags at that store a thing of the past. A Change.org petition has collected more than 459,000 signatures. Target says it's looking to be more environmentally friendly. Well, 'tis the season for returns, as UPS thinks January 2nd will be the busiest day for the stuff that we just don't want. Shoppers are expected to return more merchandise than ever. A record 1.9 million packages expected to be returned that day, according to UPS. Well, many people have left the workforce to help at home instead. Some people leaving to become new parents to take care of children, and then others having to stay back to work with aging family members. Now, whatever the reason may be, if you find yourself in this position, you may find it very difficult to start applying to jobs again. But remember, unemployment is at a 50-year low, and job recruiters are saying there really isn't a better time than now to return to the workforce. Experts say you should start updating your LinkedIn and social media profiles because employers are likely to look you up online once they receive your application. If it has been a couple of years since you've had a job, you're going to want to highlight your volunteer experience. You can start at places like a church or other organizations that can help you update your skills.
The reason for highlighting your volunteer experience is because it shows that you've been doing something recently. It also helps you get a fresh, get caught up to date on whatever software is relevant.
Now, on your resume, mention software that you've been using for personal use. That still counts. And highlight returns on investments from your last job. Now, if you helped save the company money or help make things more efficient, it's important to put that up. Now, as the holidays wrap up, it's likely you might have a gift or two, maybe more, that you want to return. Now, remember some of these dates. Best Buy's deadline for January 14th for most products. That's how long you have to make sure you get that back. Also, if you have a TV from Walmart, that return policy is 30 days. Target's also 30 days for electronics, but only 15 for Apple products. One of the longest time frames for returns, that's Macy at 90 days. Well, a number of stores could be at risk of closing or going bankrupt next year. Now, they've all been listed by Moody's as having low credit ratings. Essentially, they would be a gamble for lenders. The stores include JCPenney, Rite Aid, Neiman Marcus, and J. Crew. In 2019, more than 9,000 stores from various retailers closed nationwide. Public health experts are concerned a shortage in blood supplies could get worse. Severe weather canceled blood drives, and the holidays are causing supply to come to a critical level. But Usher Qureshi is taking a look at what's being done about it.
For Medline employee Rhonda Hinks, giving blood is a celebration. On this day, she made her 100th donation.
It doesn't take too long to give the blood. It always feels better to donate the blood than to need the blood.
But regular donors like Hinks are a rarity.
I'm hoping you're going to reach that point someday, too.
While every 2 seconds someone in the U.S. needs blood, only 3% of the population donates.
This time of year, it's really difficult because people are busy with holiday plans and they don't think about donating blood.
Hinks and her co-workers gave 100 units of blood collectively in just 6 hours, enough to save some 300 lives. Drives like this are crucial to replenishing the nation's blood supply. Even more important at this moment, say public health officials, when there is a critical shortage. Right now, the Red Cross says it has less than a 5-day supply of blood on hand.
The blood is just going out faster than it's coming in at this point.
Shortages are being reported across the country, particularly of O-type blood known as the universal donor.
We need to collect, I think it's 13,000 units of blood every single day to meet the needs across the whole country.
In extraordinary cases like that of Sarah McFarland, who needed a new heart, liver, and kidney last year, the rare triple organ transplant required a large quantity of blood.
When you add all three, it's a ton of blood. And I learned today that I got 10 units of blood during my surgery, which is huge.
One reason her mother became a regular blood donor and her family started their own blood drives.
Sarah happened to see how much she needed at that time, and we were just blown away.
It's a need for which every drop collected could mean the difference between life and death. Reporting from Chicago, I'm Usher Qureshi.
Usher, thank you. Finally in our lineup today here on The Now, you may have seen ads for UV lights that claim to be able to clean surfaces. How well do those really work? An expert weighs in next.